If you were to ask anybody in this country, what's the biggest threat facing the United States today? You'd probably get 1,000 different answers. Maybe it's immigration. Maybe it's climate change. Maybe it's the opioid epidemic. Maybe it's the need for Medicare for all and astronomical healthcare costs. Whatever it is, I guarantee you nobody is going to look at you and say, hey, the biggest threat to the United States today is porn. Now, if you were to ask lawmakers in Arizona what the biggest threat to the United States is today, they would collectively, the Republicans at least, tell you porn. Porn is the biggest threat to the United States, according to lawmakers in Arizona right now, who are actually working on a resolution that would declare pornography a public health crisis. A public health crisis. In the midst of everything else happening in the United States today, Republican lawmakers in Arizona have chosen to focus their efforts on attacking porn, as if that's relevant to anything that is facing society today. This effort is being led by Representative Michelle Udall from Mesa, Arizona. She is a Republican. And in her legislation, this resolution she's put forward, it says that pornography perpetuates a sexually toxic environment that damages all areas of our society. Like the tobacco industry, the pornography industry has created a public health crisis. Pornography is used pervasively, even by minors. Look, I get it. You don't like porn, right? Fantastic. Do you think pornography is a bigger issue than people in your state who can't afford to purchase their prescription drugs, even if they have health insurance? You still going to blame pornography for that? You're in Arizona, so are you going to blame the fact that we've got people coming across the border being separated at the border from their own children are being locked in cages, given to these adoption agencies in order to be lost by this administration? That is not as important as pornography. Climate change, the massive heat waves that Arizona has every single year that seem to be getting worse and worse, with death tolls climbing higher because of climate change. You think that is not as important as pornography? Or are you just trying to play to a base who you think is as stupid as you are? Because I'm going to go with the latter on that, and I am hoping to God that I am right. Because honestly, at this point, this is all Republicans have left. They have no new ideas. So, as usual, when they're out of ideas, they turn to culture wars. And pornography is a cornerstone of their culture wars here. And that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to create a boogeyman so they can get their conservative base all riled up and angry at something, because they know they can't win them over with actual policies. They know they're not going to win on an issue like healthcare or climate change or immigration. So instead, they create this fake target and tell everyone within their conservative base to fire at this target. Look at this target. Look at this distraction, this shiny thing I'm dangling over here, and ignore all these problems that I am also, as a lawmaker, completely ignoring because I'm paid off by Big Pharma or the healthcare industry or the private prison industry or the fossil fuel industry. So I ignore the real problems, but the porn industry hasn't given me any money recently, so let's all go out and attack them and make these baseless claims like they're somehow worse than the tobacco industry. Hundreds of thousands, if not more, people die from tobacco use. Millions over the last few decades because the tobacco industry lied to us. I don't think that even on its worst day, pornography has ever killed as many people as the tobacco industry has in a single day. But that is exactly what lawmakers in Arizona, the Republican ones, that's what they want us to think. That people are dying, that society is crumbling, that families are falling apart, and that, oh my God, we're corrupting the youth. All because people have access to pornography. This is the only issue they can win on, these culture war issues. And as they get more desperate and more pathetic and weaker, they're going to continue pushing stupid issues like this, because Republican lawmakers, whether it's in Arizona, D.C., or anywhere in between, Republican lawmakers all believe that their base is just as stupid as they are. Thanks for watching, everybody, and don't forget, if you like what you see here, like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel. And now you can also become a member of Ring of Fire and get exclusive early access to certain Ring of Fire videos all throughout the week. Just click on the little join button right below the video.